Cup and the league all to be won. Everyone knows there's a job to be done, and with a team so fine, I'm proud they're mine. We'll be singing the song. For we're the Pars of Dunfermline Athletic, and now we are on song. For we're the Pars of Dunfermline Athletic, and we'll go marching on.
The Dunfermline Athletic Former Players Association podcast is sponsored by Starnut Apparel. Affordable and stylish clothing born on the terraces. Just head to www.starnutapparel.co.uk.
Pars fans, welcome once again to Walking Down the Holbeath Road, the podcast brought to you by the Dunfermline Athletic Former Players Association. I'm your host, Mikey Mulkiewicz, and as always, in each episode, we'll bring you exclusive interviews with the legends who've helped write the story of DAFC. From unforgettable goals to iconic matches, from tales of triumph to moments that define careers. Together, we'll relive the glory days of East End Park and celebrate the players, coaches and managers who've all left their mark in the black and white stripes. In this latest episode, we chat to a real fan's favourite from the 1980s, Grant Shaggy Jenkins. Signed in October 1981 by Pat Stanton after a successful trial from Jeanfield Swifts, he progressed quickly into professional football at the age of 22 and would make his debut just a week later against Hibernian. Grant would then go on to make 244 appearances for the club, scoring 52 goals, and playing a vital role in the promotion to the Premier League under Jim Leishman. In this episode, we chat all about his time at East End Park, the teammates, the promotion, the team spirit, and what playing for Dunfermline Athletic meant to Grant Jenkins. So let's go through the turnstiles, pull up a seat, and join me as we stroll through the Pars history on Walking Down the Holbeath Road with Shaggy Jenkins. Welcome to the latest episode with a real cult hero from the 80s. I think if I asked any Dunfermline supporter to name a player from the 1980s who's their favourite, I think you would be included.
Yes.
I think so. So, Grand Shaggy Jenkins, welcome back to Dunfermline. How are you?
Thank you very much. I'm good. Yeah, very good.
Brilliant. Thanks for travelling through from Perthshire area. So
that's all right. No
appreciate
problem.
it. And just a quick one, a big thanks to the Garvick House Hotel for allowing us to record again today. So, brilliant. Thanks, Rui and all the team. Right, Grant, let's kick us off. Top 5. Who's the best player you've played with and against?
Right, okay, so we've been thinking about it. Probably with, I would say it's got to be, there wouldn't be one special, it's got to be Norrie and John Watson. Who's got to be? I mean, I'm quite sure a lot of them say that about it because they were excellent. I mean, I've played alongside John, so brilliant to play alongside. Norrie as well. I mean, you just couldn't pass him. But I would tell you, I mentioned a Jim Boy, because a lot of my goals came for Ziggy. You know, his crossing was just fantastic, you know, and what a character he was as well, you know. So that would be, John and Norrie, you know, really have got to be the top. Best I've played against, you know, I never really thought anybody in the divisions I played in that was more, I mean, I think probably nobody done fair play. When I was with St Johnstone, we played against Rangers a few times, and really Richard Goff and Terry Butcher would probably be the kind of toughest to play against, I would have thought. You know, thinking back to kind of old second division, first division, I can't really remember a lot of the ones, you know, but they're the ones that stick in your mind because they were superstars, really. They were stars, you know.
Of course, that was a big Rangers team back then as well.
Aye, it was with the English national team nearly, wasn't it?
Exactly. Unbelievable.
Aye.
Next one, favourite song?
Favourite song? Well, I've not got a favourite song, really. But, I mean, God knows how many will laugh at me at this, but group-wise, ABBA and Neil Diamond.
Brilliant stuff.
I mean, ABBA, I've been to Stockholm, me and my wife been to Stockholm to see the museum, we've been down to London to see the Void show, and it's like seeing them in the 70s.
Aye, magic.
Fabulous. Oh, aye. And anything with them, just love. Seen Neil Diamond 3 times live, and fabulous. Yeah. So any songs by them?
Tremendous.
I couldn't pick one.
Good choice, mate. Good choice.
Yeah.
If you could change something about modern day football, what would it be?
Oh, definitely the play acting, the diving. Anybody gets it, they could get kicked in the knee and they're holding their face. I think the play acting and the diving's just awful. And you would think VAR would make a difference to it, in it, doesn't it?
What's your thoughts on VAR?
Oh, hate it. Is that not everybody's thoughts?
Yeah, I agree, mate.
I mean, absolutely hopeless. It takes all the suspense and excitement out of the game, and celebrate a goal and then it's no a goal. Yeah, I think it's. I mean, they'll never get rid of it now because of the money they spent, but I think it's terrible.
Exactly. That's what was good about the Dunfermline game on Saturday against Hibs. There was no VAR.
Aye, yeah.
So it was a scrappy goal.
Aye.
If that was VAR, that would have gone to a decision, no doubt.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Hanging about for 5 minutes.
Aye. Same in the FA Cup now. There's no VAR, in these rounds.
Yeah.
The game gets on and it's good.
I know.
Aye.
Let's hope they get a day at some point.
Yeah.
What do you think of the modern game?
I would say, it's a lot faster than when we played. Well, you think that, but I mean, I don't know if it is really. Just maybe the TV and that makes it looks like it. I mean, we had, Kenny Thompson, he could probably run as fast as any of them, So it's maybe just a time thing. You're looking on the TV's a lot better when you watch it now, so it makes it all look better. But yeah, but I can't get away from the play acting. I watch a lot of our football, not so much the Scottish football, English football now, which is terrible, but I remember getting off with roastings for managers when you were doing things. When I see some things in the games now, the passing, and can't believe it. Like,
you think of the pitches you guys play them?
Oh, aye.
Literally mud.
Yeah.
Now it's like bowling greens.
Aye. Oh, aye.
How do you think you would have fared playing today on those type of pitches?
Oh, I think it would be great. Aye. You got a wee taste because when I was at Saints and we had the AstroTurf to play on, and it was, it was really good, and although it's fast. But yeah, the pitches they get now, when you see some of them, I mean, I remember going to Partick Thistle, wasn't a blade of grass, it was all sand, but you could still play football on it and still get good games. But the pitches they get now, I mean, generally they're all perfect.
Can you imagine what the modern day footballer would be like?
Oh, and
especially the English boys, the top level, running on those type of pitches.
Aye. Well, I mean, like ploughed fields, some of them.
Aye.
Yeah. I'm
mad. Next one, favourite holiday destination?
It probably would have been Florida. Went there a lot with the kids when they were young and that, to Disneyland. But probably in recent times, I mean, I go to America once a year with guys for Achterarder golfing. But probably the Costa del Sol in Spain. We go there a lot. And the area, we like it. Lots of nice golf courses, nice hotel. So it probably has to be there because we've been there a lot in the last kind of 10, 15 years.
Brilliant. Aye. Good choice, mate. Right, back to the start. Born April 1958, the 11th of April. Tell us a bit about growing up in Perth and your childhood memories of football as a kid. And
well, I was born in Dundee and got out as quick as I could, right enough. Everybody says to you. But, so I was in a wee village, lived in a wee village called Dunning, just outside Perth. And started playing football at under 12 in Perth, which was a big move going from a wee village to a big town. But I stayed in Perth playing football up till under 16, which was minors at the time, Letham minors I played for. We had a great team, and under 16 we won everything in our last year. It was really, it was good lads, and I still know quite a few of them. But everybody then, when we were all just 15, 16-year-old, it meant to move up to City Boys under 18, and we eventually all moved to the juniors at that age, which was quite unreal at that age, It's a big step. 16-year-olds going to, and I ended up going to a club called Crieff Earngrove, and they played in the second division in the junior league. And we ended up, I was there when I was 15, and after a couple of years we had a really good team, and we won 2 cups, we won the second division championship. And I was there for 6 years, and it was great 6 years as an amateur, and we had a great squad, and you turn, do fundraising, all your own stuff to earn money. And then I went, they kind of were running out of time, and they went into abeyance. So I moved to a club. I thought I'd never play for Jeanfield Swifts, because that's when a younger Letham against Jeanfield, it was all the time. But went to Jeanfield Swifts because there was nobody else to move to, and signed professional forms there for the first time. And it was really quite funny. I mean, me getting paid to play football, it was pennies but getting a signing on fee and stuff like that, it was quite funny. But anyway, I really hit it off at Jeanfield. We had a good team. We were top of the first division in the junior league at that time, and I scored a lot of goals between August and February. And I'd had a few trials with clubs. Been to Dundee United, been up at Precan, and was desperate to sign for St Johnstone because my brother had played for them earlier, and Alec Rennie came and watched me, but nothing. And then out of the blue, Pat Stanton got a trial for Dunfermline in the must have been the January or the February, and got signed, and it was dead lucky. It wasn't great at the start. Pat Stanton, such a nice guy, and I mean, I always got to thank him because he gave me the chance. I thought I'd missed my chance. I was 22 years old, thought, well, that's it, I'm not going to make it, and he gave me the chance, got it, and I could never get over all the time Pat was there, we were kind of in relegation trouble, and till we eventually got relegated, and I never heard him raise his voice. He never, I don't know, he was just so calm about everything, And then we got the total opposite when Tom Forsyth came.
We'll touch on that.
Oh,
so
right.
rewind a wee bit. You're 22, it's 1981, and Dunfermline asked you to come in February 81.
February 81, right.
Do you remember who you played against in your trial game?
Was it Burn Island Shipyard?
It was. Aye, super, Grant.
Aye.
What's your memories of playing in that trial game and the standard? Did you find it no problem at the time, or were you nervous?
You know what I remember about that game? It was a pretty frosty pitch, and it was I think it worked out well, because whether we had better foot gear than them, I don't know, but they were sliding all over the place. And I really can't remember a lot about the game, can't remember the score. I think we did win. But I think I was lucky that I played in a game like that and got signed, because maybe if you'd went out in a harder game and you didn't do so well, you might not have got the offer. But it worked out well in the end, that was right. But Burn Island Shipyard, when it just came in there.
Brilliant. So you signed after the trial, Pat Stanton brings you in. You mentioned him briefly there. What was your memories of Pat in the early days?
Yeah, good. I mean, to me, he was a star, watched him playing with Hibs and Celtic he went to then.
Aye, correct.
I thought, tremendous player. And, such a nice guy. That's what I couldn't get over. He was just such a nice guy, even when we were struggling all the time and some awful defeats we had. I was reading a book last night just to kind of refresh my memory a wee bit. And, some of the results we had were awful. But when I think back, he just never lost the place or lost the head or raised his voice, really. Do
you think management just wasn't for him? Think he was maybe better suited to being a coach?
Probably, I think. Aye, he just. Although I can't say at least didn't raise his voice. He did. But I probably. Aye, and to me, it looked like Dunfermline was just a stepping stone before he got the job at Hibs. He was just there for a wee bit of experience, and because he was always going to end up there.
Of course.
Yeah.
Talking about Hibs, 28th of February. A week after you signed, you make your debut against Hibernian. Do you remember your debut?
Aye, yeah.
And how did you find that?
Hard.
It's a big step up from Jeanfield going against Hibs.
It was tough. I think Craig Patterson was the centre half for them that day.
Right.
I think it was Jim Brown playing with them at that time. I think he was. Who eventually came to us.
Yeah.
It was tough. Aye, now you said it was a big step up going through the juniors and you were quite, I was 22, I wasn't young, but I was still quite starstruck to be playing there in front of a crowd like that. Because even then, you were getting a couple of thousand to a crowd then, which was, used to be a couple of hundred at the juniors,
Yeah.
So it was a cold day, I remember that. Aye, but
it must have been quite surreal.
It was.
In a space of a month, you've been playing at Jeanfield.
Aye, yeah.
To then be playing at top level football against the likes of Hibs.
Well, I didn't even expect to get picked that day. And as you read out the team, and I thought I might be a sub. And you're playing, it was a shock. Aye, But a good shock.
Amazing stuff. Aye. Do you mind your first goal for the Purs?
Against Motherwell.
It was.
Aye. 1-1 draw.
It was indeed.
And I just remember that. Yeah.
Some memory, Gran. 28th of March, 81. So a month after your debut.
Right.
You get your first goal.
Right.
Against Motherwell. Amazing stuff. Then after that, Pat goes and Tam Forsyth comes in.
Yeah.
What was Tam Forsyth like?
Well, to start with, he was awesome. I mean, he was a star, wasn't he? I mean, God almighty, Scotland player, Rangers player. And yeah, came in to meet everybody and, but the total opposite for Pat Stanton, the way I used to say to, people, like folk I knew at home and stuff like that, I says, you would go in on a Saturday and because to me, Tom Forsyth, see when you had a golf out and everything like that, he was brilliant, great fun. But it seemed to be at 1 o'clock on a Saturday when you come into the dressing room, you come into something seemed to click in his head, and it was just. To me, he had players not scared, but oh God, I better not do anything wrong with the or
aye,
because he was just. He had a magnetic players board, and
yeah.
And Bobby Forrest at the time, Bobby was playing great, he was playing left back, and all you got, give the Bobby Forrest, he's red hot, I can just mind him saying that all the time. And then he had the magnetic man, get the Bobby, and he'll go right up to the end, he'll get the ball. Oh, it was so funny. But you could sit there, you couldn't laugh like. And then all of a sudden he was so he would bang the magnetic board, and all the magnetics would come flying off, and to me, I wasn't one of the young, well, I was not one of the youngest players there at the time, but younger. And I think some of them were fair to do anything wrong out in the park. He couldn't motivate players.
Bad man management, eh?
Oh, really?
How are you going to get the best out of players?
Aye. I mean, I can't remind you, I had been injured and I was playing a comeback game in the reserves in a midweek game, and we were nearly at punching each other. He took me off at half time, whether I was in a bad game or whatever, but I just remember taking Jim Leishman and Cammy Murray were in the treatment room, which was just next door at the time, and I remember he said, right, Grant, you're coming off. Shouting at you like, man, took my strip off and I threw it at him, and he come over and we were just like this with each other, and Cammy Murray come through and, right, come on, calm down. I just got dressed and walked out and I thought that would be it. Mm-hmm. But no, he come running out after me and he apologised, and I was in the first team against Wraith Rovers on the Saturday.
Wow, you'd be thinking, that's my time up.
Aye, that's well, as far as I was concerned down. I walked out, that was it.
Yeah.
Aye, yeah, but and you couldn't get away from what a different chap he was away from football.
Aye, it's mad, eh?
Aye. I mean, could you imagine? I mean, he was a market gardener, wasn't he? That's what he did.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't imagine that.
No.
But at football, oh man, and you just couldn't see it lasting.
No, and I didn't. It was a short stay.
Aye.
And then at the time, Jim Leishman was
a coach, yeah.
And he stepped up and took the job on. So early days under Jim, what was it like?
Oh, it was just totally different. I mean, what a change for what we just had. Total opposite for motivating players. He kind of took you aside, and he was just for somebody who was only, Jim's only what, 3 or 4 years older than me.
I think he was 28.
He was 28, so I was 20. I would be about 24. And you think, my God, how do you do that at that age? But he was that's the kind of character he is, isn't he? And I remember when we were up at that technical college training. I mean, when Jim was a coach up there, there must have been one day, there must have been about 8 coaches up there. But we had, what a coaches we had up there. But that was when Jim was doing the reserves. So that was obviously when Tom Forsyth was there. But when Jim took over, just fabulous. What a change.
Do you think it benefited Jim because what Tam Forsyth had been like? Jim being the total opposite.
I think
good man manager.
Aye.
So the players reacted better to it.
Aye. And I like the way Jim, I can remember one training night, when we were kind of near the bottom of the second division, and that's when, to take a club over there and do what he did was just outstanding. But I remember him taking us out one night and I think there was maybe 11 or 12 of us just jogging round outside of the park, and he come running out and he come over and he said, and I remember him saying a wee pep talk, he says, right, you 11, 12 guys here, he says, you're going to be a team for the next few years. He says, this is it. He says, there'll be one or two additions and stuff like that, but you're the boys that are going to be the nucleus of the, and I always remember that. And it was. And when I was reading that book last night, even at Jim's time, I couldn't believe the amount of players that came and went.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
It was quite ruthless, Jimmy.
aye, oh, aye.
Boys that were older than him at the time.
Yeah.
He would get rid of them.
Aye, but they came in and they went, and reading the book last night, because the one I read last night was only up to 85.
Right.
And a lot of the players that had came and gone then, I thought that was after that time, you know. So aye, but no, as far as man management go, Jim was great. I mean, some of the carry-ons we had, but at the end it was all serious because, I mean, he obviously wanted to be successful, and he was. And just a tremendous character. Some of the pre-season stuff we did, going down to Gullen, and we're doing in North England, and he was the life and soul of the party, even though he was the manager. You know, he was a great, what a character. And he's kept going.
He's still going, that's for sure. Was there any dressing room stories or the old poems, or he used to tap into the local history and all that in his team talks, didn't he?
He did all the poems he came out with. What I loved about Jim Leishman, what I said to all the folk who, doing it my era, I got golfing that when you knew, what you saw with Jim Leishman on telly, on publicity, on the papers, is exactly what he was like. You know, he come in with the most stupid poems and stuff like that at half time, anything to break the tension, or, aye, and, he was good. And I mean, I had my ups and downs with him as well. I mean, I remember when I only signed for a year when Pat Stanton signed me. And that's all I did for like the 7 odd years I was there. It was a year contract, all the time. And, I think it must have been maybe, I was going to move to St Johnstone before I eventually moved to St Johnstone. So it was before we had went up to the Premier League. And I just remember Ian Gibson at St Johnstone had phoned me and says, do you fancy coming? And if I ever went anywhere, it was going to be St Johnstone, because I've been travelling up here for 7 years, and St Johnstone was only 10 minutes from my door. And so I more or less said to him, right, I'll come, because I wasn't getting any offer for Dunfermline. And then I made Jim phone him up. He phoned me up. He says, you're not going to sign for St Johnstone, are you? I says, well, you're not making any sort of offer. I says, they're making an offer. I says, I didn't want to, but I says, I'm a young player. I've got a young family. I says, you're looking for all the money you can get. And he said, oh, for God's sake, I'll come and see you. So we met at the Windsor Hotel in Perth, and he come down for Dunfermline, and we sat and we blathered, and he just says, right, what you want, Ned? What is it? Do you know what to go to say? And say, he said, you know what, to leave us? And we agreed a deal, and that was it, signed. And I didn't want to leave, because it was brilliant. And the thing I was a St Johnstone supporter for a young boy, and now I'm a Dunfermline supporter, because they gave me my chance that I thought I was never going to have. And he came down, was signed, and that was it. And was here for another 2 or 3 years, and that was great. I mean, I had no way I wanted to leave, because I was there at one of the best times you could be at.
Aye, no question.
Aye.
Talking about that, promotion after promotion. So go from the second division to the first.
Aye.
And then I'll stay in the first division at the moment. 1985-86, it was a club centenary season, 100 years old.
Yeah.
We won promotion that year.
Yeah.
But we also recorded a song. That is 40 years this year.
Aye. Yeah.
What's your memories of the EastEnders?
It's just, it was just fabulous fun. You know, it really, I mean, God, it was just, when we found out what they were doing, and you were coming in, instead of training, you were going to a recording studio in Edinburgh and stuff like that. And it was surreal. You know, but it was great fun. And, going down to Pebble Mill, and, I only remember you had to rehearse all morning, and we had rehearsed the song at a certain speed. But on Pebble Mill, it's that bit faster, and you can even see when you see it now, the video, there's a bit we missed out the start and that, because Blair Morgan was telling the musicians at the time, look, you're just going a bit, but they said, no, this is what we've to do. And, so you could see that's why we missed out. I thought we were late coming in at one point, but it was cracking fun. I mean, I remember God, the night before there was an offie cat with poor Willie Callahan, who's no here now. He was a young boy at the time, just getting a chance, and we were told not to go to the hotel, and Willie went away out and come back in an offie state, and all I remember saying, Jim went, Willie, what kind of state's that? And all I remember was, well, what the F's it got to do with you? And so I think he got transferred when we come back up the road.
Aye, I think he went out on loan.
Aye, he went on loan bit quick. Aye, that's right. But it was so funny. And then obviously John didn't get on the record because he sing song in the residence bar. Which is terrible that he's not there. Like, you know, somebody like Geordie, he should have been in there. But
I don't think he's overly bothered, to be honest.
I don't think he will be. No. But it would have just been good to see him there as well.
I know, definitely.
Aye. But it was great fun. You know, just things that ordinary working boy doing stuff like this. I mean, I think we went and visited Aston Villa's training ground, and oh my God, you think, wouldn't this be wonderful to be playing in something like this all the time? And I can't remember when we did a trip down to England. I don't think it was that. We did a tour of the north of England. And I remember we travelled from there and we went right up to Kintore. We dropped people off it because Jim knew somebody up there. We dropped people off in Edinburgh, and then we picked players up and went right up to Kintore, the north of Scotland, and played on a park with pins and a rope round it, you know, against the local.
Yeah.
And we got fed in the pub, and it was great. But I remember we were about 6 hours on the bus, you know, and this was because Jim knew somebody.
They changed days. It wouldn't happen now.
It just wouldn't happen now. But it was great times. Great times. And Jim, you just couldn't keep Jim doing. And the other, we were down North England somewhere, and it's just when Ian Munro come in, which he was the coach at that point. And we were all out at night doing in England, so we were coming walking back, and we're all quite happy coming along to the hotel. And we got in, and Ian Munro says, "Who's making all that noise?" And of course it was Jim Leishman that was making all the noise, you know. He's thinking it was some of the players and he was going to go on, but it was the beginning of the end for me when we kind of went up to the Premier League. Yeah, I got a few. I played a lot. The first half of the season, quite a lot of games. But it all changed then when they started signing players at 100,000 and stuff like that. I had to play them no matter what.
Well, we got to the Premier League. The Hibs game was the opening one, the 3-3, wasn't it?
Aye,
you played in.
What a game.
And then we beat Celtic at East End. What a start to the season, eh?
And then there was a supporters club, a supporters night out down at Pitt and Crieff Park the night we beat Celtic.
Right.
Oh my God, it was magnificent. Aye, you just because you couldn't believe it. You know, I can't remember. This always sticks in my head. Was there 18,000 at the Celtic game?
There probably would have been about that, eh?
I'm sure. That sticks in my head, I'm sure, because I'm thinking, God, I used to play here in front of 1,500, 2,000. Now all of a sudden, the crowds were brilliant. Of course, you were doing well, so they were brilliant. Oh, to beat Celtic there. Only regret, I never scored in the Premier League, which really rankles me. But I set up the first goal for Craig Robertson to score the first goal against Celtic.
He did indeed, aye.
Aye, I remember that. And then I think Eric Ferguson scored the winner.
He did.
Aye.
2-1 win. They got a dubious penalty.
Aye, that's right. But what a day that was.
How did you find it, Premier League football?
Aye, well, it was tough. It was fast. Yeah. And when you played against Celtic and Rangers, you were playing against folk that you thought you'd never play against. You know, I mean, earlier on when we played Celtic, when they had, real star players, Nicholas, we got a couple of hammers with them in the League Cup and stuff like that. But to me, they were players I would watch on the telly. I wouldn't be playing against them, you know. That's how you felt. I think I could play in the Premier League, and I would have just liked to have stayed longer and got at least one goal in the Premier League, you know. But you could just see the writing was on the wall. Everything was changing at the club, you know, because it was then becoming big business.
Yeah.
You know.
The likes of Stuart Beattie's, Kirkwoods, Bobby Smiths were all starting to come in, weren't they? Established Premier League players.
Yeah, that's right. And you just knew that you were going to get pushed out. And I think I was 28 or 29, and really, to me, I still wanted to play football. I didn't want to sit on the bench or not be in the squad, and that's eventually why I moved. You know, I still wanted to to be playing football, no sitting on the bench and looking for the sidelines and stuff like that.
Yeah, you want to be playing, don't you?
Aye, yeah.
We're proud to sponsor this podcast. At Flow Clinic, we are committed to helping more people take control of their health. If you're looking to lose weight safely and effectively, we are helping thousands of patients do just that. No waiting rooms, no fuss. From consultation to delivery straight to your door. All done conveniently and discreetly online. Find out more at flowclinic.com. That's PHLO clinic.com. Flow Clinic, your health in your hands.
You've mentioned a few of the boys throughout this so far, your teammates.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these boys, your Bobby Forrest, Norrie, John, Stevie Morrison,
Yeah,
they were part of the journey from the start,
they were, yeah.
like yourself, all the way to the Premier League.
Aye.
So, what about all these boys? Who was good crack in the dressing room? And
Well, Norrie and John were obviously, but Ziggy was just, Ziggy was fantastic. You know, the beatings he took for John and Norrie, you know, in the dressing room, you know, the playful beatings and stuff like that, and I getting the mick taken, but Ziggy could give as good as he got. Cracking. Snowy was pretty quiet, you know, but I still, I used to get when I was reading the book last night, what was one game we got hammered against Celtic or something, and Snowy scored the goal and got man of the match for Mr. Superfit, which we all had a real big laugh at.
I've seen that at the time. Yeah.
I thought, Snowy, Mr. Superfit. Hated training, you know, like, it looked like he had never put in into training. No, and well, Bobby Forrest, he was my mucker when we went away. We roomed together and stuff like that. So on Facebook and that, still messaging back and for it. Bobby Robertson, just the same, regular every week. You know, he just did the same thing every week. Brilliant.
West End goals. Hugh White was there.
Hugh White originally. Aye. Hugh White.
Great people, eh?
Oh, fantastic. Boner, still about. Brilliant. Kenny Thompson. And I played with Kenny at Saints as well. Oh, God, Kenny, superb. And it was Ian Campbell Kane.
Pint scored a few goals for us.
Oh, man, good player. Yeah. And that was another thing. Although I got my nickname Shaggy, it was Russell Dunlop. We were sitting in a training one night and we were in the bath and they were saying, well, hey, think up some nicknames for folk. So it was Russell Dunlop that thought Shaggy for me.
I was going to ask that where it came from.
It was Russell Dunlop. We're hanging up nicknames. Norrie, it never really stuck with Norrie, but Norrie he was nicknamed Honk McCarthy.
Yeah.
That was because we were doing it Gullen. He kept disappearing behind the dunes to be sick.
I didn't know that one.
That was, we'd had a good night out before. Like I said, Gullen Hill sorted us out the next day. But actually, my first name, which a lot of, boys I played with remember, was Petricelli, was my first nickname, because at the time when I first came to Dunfermline, I was building my house, where I am now. My father-in-law was building it, but I was building it for 4 years, and you'll not remember, but there was a detective programme called Petricelli, and he was building his house all the time the programme was on. So that's what I would come in and they'd say, how's Petricelli getting on this week? And stuff like that. So, because they never missed a trick, you know, anything that they could, it was a great time to be at the club.
There was some iconic nicknames, with Zico, Snowy, Ziggy, Winker, Honk, Shaggy.
There was, and I do think Russell Dunlop got one.
Right.
He was instrumental in thinking them up, you know. But Shaggy stuck for a long time now. I play a lot of golf now, you know, a bit of a golf fanatic, and I play in a thing through the winter called the Midland Alliance. And there was a boy, Alan Grattan, I ended up getting drawn with him in this year, and he come walking, and he saw I've got head covers on my clubs that guys bought me, because I organise a Portugal holiday or Turkey holiday every year for guys for golfing at Crieff, and they bought me head covers with Grad Shaggy Jenkins on them. And this Alan Grattan got drawn with me at we're playing at Strathmore, and he says, I saw the name that was drawn with Grant Jenkins, and he come walking down to the tee, and he saw the head cover, and he says, is it you? Was it Dunfermline? I said, aye. he couldn't believe it. And I thought, how could folks still remember? I mean, you're a bit younger. Maybe he says, my dad used to come by and watch. And I think, for Christ's sake.
Superb.
Aye.
You mentioned your house earlier. I've got in my notes, I don't even know if Jim told me that, your house was paid from win bonuses between 1985 and 87, or helped to build your house.
So, yeah, the story behind that is, so like I said, my father had a scrap metal business, so we used to bring loads of scrap down to Kirkcaldy. So, off win bonuses, when I came back from Kirkcaldy, I would come back through Kirkforther. There used to be a brick company there, and take a load of bricks home. So off all the win bonuses I would get, I would buy a load of bricks for building my house. And yes, I mean, the money when we went up to the Premier League, nothing like it is now, but it was still good. And that's what my wife would say when I come home. How many bricks have you bought the day? Because it did. I mean, it didn't build a complete house, but on the other hand, all my electric stuff for the house came from Davy Young. He worked with, I think, in electrical factors, so I got all my electrics, plugs, wires, cables for Davy. I would come into training at night and would transfer everything into my car, all the cable and the fuse boxes and plugs, and then got all the windows and doors for Pink at C.R. Smith. Yeah, so, yeah, a lot to do with Dunfermline as well, building my house, yeah.
Top class. How many people can say the Pars paid for their house to get built, eh?
I know.
Your last game was on the 21st of November 1987, against Celtic. You mentioned you were struggling to get in the team. Things were changing. So by that point, were you ready to move on?
Yeah, I really was. They were saying, I think, was it Mark Smith that came for 100,000?
He did, indeed, yeah. And Celtic.
And you just, what, did they sign any other? Winker was still playing. Any other strikers did they sign? Eric Ferguson had come. Can't think off the top of my head that there was anybody else. But yeah, you were going to be struggling.
Ross Jack.
Yes, aye, so that's right. So yeah, I could see that I'm going to struggle to be playing here. And it was Alec Totten at the time, Saints, who he got in touch with me and says, so I spoke to Jim and I says, I didn't want to, I didn't want to be sitting on the sidelines either. And he could see that as well. He could see it was all changing. And that was, I didn't want to go, but I mean, I still wanted to play football. And that was the main reason I left. But going to St Johnstone for 3 years never changed my affinity for Dunfermline, because they gave me the chance, had a great time, met great people. And the same kind of thing happened with St Johnstone as well. We went up as runners-up in the second division, then we won the first division the first year at McDermott Park, which was good as well. And then we were going up to the Premier League, but I had fallen out with Alec Totten in the March, the year we won the first division. He took me off in a game, which I could still remember this day. Roddy Grant and Alan Moore sent me. I was playing a really good game. If anybody was going to score, it looked like it might be me. And Totten took me off kind of midway through the second half. And I was no happy. And I was in the dugout and Bert Payton, obviously the coach. And I'm sitting there and I'm saying a bit, what does he take me off for? And then I started saying, what do you take me off for? Just so, and I'm pretty quiet generally, but just so annoyed. And Bert says, didn't say anything now, Grant, this isn't the time. I says, well, I'm afraid I think it is, Bert. I think I'm a scapegoat here. And I forgot another game. That was I think March time. I never got another game to the end of the season. And so then Dick Campbell wanted me to go up to Brecon for a couple of years because Saints were going full time.
So many Dunfermline connections here.
Oh, unbelievable. I mean, Ziggy went to Saints, but he was away before I went. But Kenny Thompson, Gary Thompson,
Roddy Grant,
Alan Moore, aye.
Totten.
I mean, crazy.
Harry Curran, Alan Moore.
Aye.
Did you bring him?
Unbelievable, wasn't it? Aye, yeah. And I just remember Dick wanted me, he says, get a free transfer, Grant, come up to Brecon for a couple of years. I says, that'll be fine, because Saints were going full time. And their offer was ridiculous compared with what I'd had with Dunfermline 4 years before. And I had 3 kids, young family, need all the money. I says, no, I'm better working in part-time. And you can't be part-time in a full-time setup. It just doesn't work. That's why I went full time for that time at Dunfermline.
Yeah.
I was coming into training at the start. There's nobody here, you know, and the only reason I went full time at Dunfermline because I could get my job back. With my dad, of course. So, the thing with Dick, I says, that'd be great, Dick. I'll see. So I went to see Alec Taunton and, Jeff Brunel will be a free transfer. I says, you're kidding. I says, what, they pay $8,000 or something for me?
$7,000 I've got here.
$7,000, right. So, I says, what, it'll be my last move. I says, I'm 31, just let me go. And of course, you didn't hear that Bosman ruling at that time. And it was maybe the wrong thing to do. I was still fit. I was 31. I'd had knee injury problems. And I just packed it in. I thought eventually they'd give me my papers back and I might, but never have. Years later, I got a cancel. My registration was cancelled. And so.
Why would they do that, eh?
I know, aye.
Thinking back, aye. Out of spite maybe because I
don't know.
Went against the manager.
I didn't care. Well, you just don't know. I mean, I can remember saying to Alec Taunton, I says, look, he talks about money. I scored the goal against the quarter-final against Morton to get us to the semi-final against Rangers, and how much money did they make off that? Mm-hmm. But anyway, that was the way it worked out in the end, and it was a shame, really. But
especially being your boyhood team. Your brother had played for them as well, your local team.
Aye, no, it was a bit of a sad way to end it. And for a while, I mean, on Saturdays or that, I mean, I started playing golf, although I had played anyway, but I avoided going past the football ground and stuff like that because you think, I could still be there.
Yeah, it's a shame, eh?
Aye, it is really. But their offer to go full-time was nonsense,
I've got a wee stat here, which, for a local boy, you scored the last goal for St Johnstone at Muirton Park. Did you know that?
I didn't know that. I was at a book signing at Saints about a month ago for their history. And I wasn't the last player to score, but I was the last St Johnstone player to score.
Aye, against Partick Thistle.
Against Partick, the 1-0 draw.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, and I remember we scored the last goal, John Sludden. We got beat 1-0 for Ayr United.
Right.
And he's not even worse now.
No, he's passed.
Yeah, but I know it's quite a good stat to have.
Definitely. Especially being a Perth boy in that sort of team, eh? What a claim of history that
And I
is.
was also the first boy to kick off a game at McDermott Park.
Brilliant.
Because Sammy Johnson was there, who's another guy who's bloody gone now.
Mm-hmm.
But Sammy was going to take the centre, and I just kind of said, I'll take this kick off. Said, what is it? I says, I'm a local boy. I'll kick the first game off at McDermott Park. And I did have a header that hit wouldn't have been the first goal at McDermott Park. We played Clydebank, 1-0 draw. A header from a corner that hit the post, and Harry Curran put the rebound in. I thought, last Saints player to score at Saints, first player to score, that'd have been good.
That would have been amazing.
Aye, yeah.
You played 76 games for St Johnstone, 13 goals. You mentioned Alex Taunton, Bertie Payton. Mm-hmm. Must have been quite exciting at that time. They were going through the leagues, like you say, and in a brand new stadium.
Yeah.
Johnstone were getting good support at that point. Well,
yeah, they were. We were one game particularly. I remember playing Hamilton on a Tuesday night, and there was 8,500 there. And we won 3-0. But you were getting good crowds because we were top of the league. And I mean, the same thing happened at Dunfermline when if it's like St Johnstone now. The crowds are getting now because top of the first division, no the bottom of the Premier League.
Yeah.
It's you're as well being there as crowds want to see a winning team.
Exactly.
That's the thing. But your aim is to get to the Premier League. My God, it's got to be, or you wouldn't be playing.
Dunfermline got a flavour of that on Saturday, so
aye, yeah.
Fingers crossed.
But they're doing, I mean, well, obviously I was doing it the game they played against St Johnstone, and of course the boy Todd's looking great, isn't he?
He is.
Aye.
The whole team is a good young team.
Aye, it is. Aye,
exciting.
They're young. Aye, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Really good. So you mentioned after St Johnstone you packed it in. So what did you do after football then?
Golf.
Golfing. Working in golfing. I was very busy. I mean, I was more or less running my dad's business at this point. So my brother who worked with, both my brothers were older than me, Ross, we kind of had a fallout, and he left us, and so it was just me and my other brother and my dad, and my dad died pretty suddenly in 99, so it left me and my brother, and it was still loads of work, so, and we just worked away, and it was fine, it was just a case of getting on with it, working with loads of work to do, and then if I wasn't working, I'd going to a holiday or Family life takes over.
Family life. The thing about when I stopped playing football, my wife worked in insurance all her life. And so when she had the kids, when she had her second daughter, because there were only 13 months between them, she had to give up work. She worked with General Accident, which was eventually CGU, and now it's Aviva. And so when I thought about giving up football with a carry on at St Johnstone, she says, well, the insurance company are wanting people, they were starting a evening helpline. So they were wanting ex-employees to go back because they had the experience in that. She says, so it's up to you. I go back to work and you come in to watch the kids at night. So it was a total turnaround. I would do my work during the day. I'd come in back at 5, 6. She worked from 7 till about 1 in the morning or something like that. And so I come in and watch the kids. And it was actually quite good because I got to see the kids growing up.
Yeah.
You know.
I guess as a footballer, you miss out a lot of your kids growing up, don't you?
You do.
It's just your day all the time.
You missed out on holidays, Christmas, stuff like that, New Year. Yeah, you were, you couldn't go out and drink and stuff like that. You missed quite a lot.
I don't think supporters probably think of that side of it. They just think the glamour of being a footballer, but there's so much you miss out on.
Oh, you do, aye. I mean, God, when you start off being part-time, I mean, now I wonder how you manage, because you're working all day. I would come in, I'd be up in Dunfermline for 6:30, and 2, sometimes 3 times a week. So yeah, but you're younger and you've got loads more energy, It's and you just do it. Because I see young guys, I would go off in that way now. One kid, oh my God, I'm knackered, but what? But there you go. That's what you just did it.
That's it. You just get on with it, don't you?
Aye, you do. Yeah.
So rewinding back on reflection, 244 games for Dunfermline, 52 goals. What was your favourite moment at East End Park?
I think probably you forget the excitement, but scoring goals was absolutely fantastic. It really was. I mean, I just loved scoring goals, and I wish I could have got more. But the first goal, obviously, but that was bound to be a really good time. But I think beating Celtic would have to be that would be a real highlight. But there's one game in particular I remember. We played Hearts on a night. The game shouldn't even been played. I think half the pitch was frozen, and I had brought 4 mates for Crieff down, because at that time you could still, Sheila Peters would give you comp tickets and stuff like that. So I brought 4 pals down for Crieff, and one of them, who still is and has been all his life a Hearts supporter. So we beat them 2-1 and I scored the winner. And I just remember my pals for Crieff saying, we were all up off the seats, because the pal that supported Hearts he was a trainer coach at Crieff Earngrove. We'd been pals all our life, his wife, my wife were real pals. And we were all up, and Rob's sitting like that. He's like that, he couldn't even get up and cheer. But that's a moment I always remember.
Top class. You mentioned Sheila Peters there. She's coming to the EastEnders reunion.
Oh, is she?
She is.
Brilliant.
So
aye.
It'll be good for you boys to see her again.
That will be. Aye. Well, my wife and my youngest daughter and her husband, they're coming down to the EastEnders. Aye. Yeah.
Brilliant. It's going to be a great day.
I'm sure it will. Aye. And it'll be great seeing guys I've never seen I met Ziggy in Edinburgh. I've seen Ziggy here. Bobby Forrest I've seen, a few times, but it's Snowy, Westy. I've never seen Trevor since I left. Who else? Was Kenny coming to it? Kenny Thompson?
Kenny Thompson's not. Nah, he wasn't part of that season.
Oh, of course he wasn't. That's right. Aye.
Nah. But we've got just about all the boys, apart from Bobby Robertson, because he's on holiday.
Oh, is he? That's a pity.
Aye, it is a pity.
Aye.
All the other boys have said yes to coming. Including Trevor.
Because Trevor. Aye.
So.
Yeah. Is he Trevor in Belfast?
He's in Belfast.
Does he stay there? Right. Right.
So it'll be good. The Former Players Association's running that one, and you're a member of that. And you were at the St Johnstone game a few months ago. So
yeah.
You still have that connection with the pars, don't you?
Oh, aye. I mean, I know I should come down to more games, but I've got a bunch of guys I golf with on a Saturday, and I know, because see, when I come down, I love it. I mean, that time I was doing it at the Saints game, and then Jason says, come on up to the Paragon, and Ken Metty talking to you up there, and God, everybody wants to speak to you, which amazes me, because you didn't think you were not a hero or anything like that, but you didn't think you were anything special. All these guys want to speak to you and they say, oh, I loved watching you. And it's nice to hear. It really is. I said, I'm quite sure you weren't shouting that all the time, when I missed a goal or, but no, it is. I should come down more often.
We're always welcome.
I know that. I mean, you get told that all the time, and I really should, and I'll try.
I remember saying to a couple of boys in Legends bar that night, oh, there's Shaggy Jenkins is just over there at the bar. No way. Is he?
Is that right?
They made a beeline for you, chatting to you for ages.
Aye.
You could see the boys actual buzzing to.
Aye, I know. And it's nice. It's really nice. Aye. Yeah. And when I come, it's great when I come down. I mean, it is good. But you just, at 67, I shouldn't have a busy life, but I still have a busy life.
Aye, plenty of golf to play.
Plenty of golf to play, and still working, and still play I played five-a-side football on a Monday night with guys who are, more of them in their 20s and 30s and 40s, but I'm not up front running about like a clear Finu. I just play at the back and get an odd 40 up front.
So use your experience.
Yes, it's good fun. Good fun. If you can still do it, it's fine. Aye.
Superb, mate. Final question. What does Dunfermline Athletic mean to Grant Jenkins?
Oh, yeah, everything really. Because, I mean, I was 22 when I signed for them. I thought my chance playing professional football had gone. You got the chance. They gave me the chance. And it was amazing. Amazing time to be here. After the first couple of years, it was just all on the up. Everything was so successful, and some of the guys you met, Jim Leisman, who stay in touch with you all the time. He phones me up out of the blue, invites me down to his 70th birthday. It's just, and through all these years, I mean, it's just been so good. Just loved it. Loved the players, the whole setup. Couldn't fault it.
Brilliant, Grant. Well, we'll catch up with you on the 8th of February for the EastEnders reunion day. And thanks again for coming back to Dunfermline. It's been brilliant to spend some time with you and chat all about the football.
No, it's been great, and thanks very much.
Thanks for listening to Walking Down the Holbeath Road, and a massive thank you to our latest guest, Grant Jenkins, for joining us on this episode. Don't forget to subscribe to Walking Down the Holbeath Road on your favourite podcast platform. And if you enjoyed today's show, remember to leave us a little rating and review, as it helps us reach even more Pars fans just like yourself. As always, this podcast was produced by Jan Mutkiewicz and music supplied by Stuart Dusty Miller. Thanks once again for listening, and we look forward to walking down the Holbeath Road once again next month.